Hey, good morning guys, or good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it may be where you're watching this episode of Casey Crawls. I appreciate you watching. I'm Casey, and today I'm with Ole Sarge. Ole Sarge has 14,914 miles since I bought him, and I figured that's close enough to do a 15,000 mile review. So on this episode, we're going to do a little walk around. I'm going to show you what I've done to Ole Sarge. We'll talk a little bit about future plans and how things have been going with my two-door Jeep Wrangler Rubicon as a daily driver. So stick around, stay tuned, like, subscribe, thumbs up, bell, yada yada. And I'll see you on the trail. Thank you. I think first thing you'll notice is the Ole Sarge has got a little bit more altitude. Here recently I did a 2.5 inch rock crawler suspension lift. And I actually ended up getting, I think, 4 inches of lift. I imagine it's probably settled since then. Alright, first things first, bumpers. I think that was pretty much the first thing to go on, with the exception of my cell phone holder. I went with LOD bumpers front and rear. I really like the look of the stubby bumper. Kind of opens up the front tires so I could get on whatever obstacle I'm climbing. And so with the front bumper, I also went with the VR Series 8,000 pound Warren winch, and haven't had to use it yet, synthetic rope. So I'm ready to go. Probably use this to pull friends back over on their wheels. I'm not gonna mention names, but y'all know who I'm talking about if you're a regular on Casey Crawls. Lights, I went with this is an 18-inch light bar from Nightlight, Amazon special. And this thing works really well. It has a spot and a flood beam, and this thing really lights up the trail. I've still got the incandescent lights. I did not get the LED lights in this Jeep. I bought this Jeep off the lot, so I didn't order anything special. Incandescent lights, they suck. So the first thing I really needed to look at were some decent driving lights, off-road lights, so that's where this light bar comes in. I did go with, the red accents, Rubicon accents with the D-rings, and I think that's about all up front. So let's go around back. Okay, so consistent with the theme up front, I went with LOD, an LOD bumper in the back, and the red Rubicon accents with the D-rings. This particular bumper is the full width bumper. I wanted something wide so I could protect the body tub, and it's worked out fairly well. Future upgrades for this, it does have a hitch. I've got to get the wiring for the trailer lights. I do have jet skis, and I've got a small boat that I'd like to be able to pull around with this thing, and then also it's got a place for lights. I think that would come in handy, so I'm going to go ahead and get some lights for that thing. So that's pretty much what we got going on in the rear. It's worked out well. I've wheeled this thing twice before it was lifted, and I'll show you what that lift looks like. It did fairly well at stock altitude with 33s, and I'm anxious to get it back on the trail and see what it does. Maybe I won't bash this rear bumper quite so often. So let's go around the side and I'll show you what the lift looks like, because it's really cool. All right guys, with the lift, I went with a rock crawler 2.5 inch X Factor lift. And this thing comes with adjustable lowers, uppers. It has front and rear track bar, and the track bars are adjustable. And I also went with the Fox shocks, and the ride quality, it's the same as stock. I couldn't tell a difference. Now this is a 2-door, a short wheelbase, so it is a little bumpier. I've not ever really ridden on the interstate in a 4-door, so I don't know how comfortable they are. This one, it does pretty good. So, you know, I'm happy. I like the rock crawler lift so far. I have had to go back and tighten up jam nuts. So if you do happen to get that lift, I would recommend checking those every now and then. I checked them, and there were a couple that were hand loose. So I did have to go back and tighten some of that stuff up. And I guess that's just a routine maintenance item. The other thing I did is I went with the Milestar Patagonia mud terrain tires. And again, I was very worried about the ride quality, how loud it would be in the cab of the Jeep. And it's the same as the BF Goodrich all-terrains. It does really well on the highway. I talk on the phone a lot in the Jeep on the way home from work. I've got about an hour commute home and about 45 minutes in the morning to get to work. So I'm in the vehicle a lot, and I don't have a problem talking on the phone. They are 35 inch, actually they're 315/70, 17 inch wheels, and they've done really well. I will say that the Rubicon has 410 axle gears, and what I have noticed is I can't hold 8th gear quite as much as I used to be able to on the interstate. Fuel mileage, I probably lost about 1 mile to 1.5 miles per gallon going with the tires. I'm sure the lift had something to do with it as well. So not too bad. I'm getting around 17 to 17.5 right now, so not too awful. So let's talk about the wheels. I'll show you the wheels here and give you a quick rundown. I went with Icon Rebound Pros. So let me move the camera around to the spare tire, and I'll be able to explain a little better what's really cool about the Icon Rebound Pro wheels. All right, guys, this is the spare. And you'll see we've got these bolts. There are 16 per wheel. What that is those are pins that drive into the wheel. They've got an O-ring to seal them, and they go behind the bead of the tire. And so they hold the bead of the tire on the wheel. So when you lower your air pressure, the bead's not going to pop off. And so this is Icon's solution for a DOT legal bead lock wheel. Again, I've not had it on the trail with these new wheels or the lift yet, so I don't know how it's going to do, but I'm anxious to get it out on the trail and lower the tire pressure and check it out. All right, so one thing I almost forgot to mention, and some of y'all probably saw the video, is I did do a muffler delete. It is definitely louder. My wife says it sounds like it's wound tight. I don't know what that means. I think it sounds pretty cool, almost to the point where I should rename the Jeep the Green Hornet, because it sounds like a bunch of angry hornets. But what it does do is I got rid of that giant muffler that was a rock catcher, and I think it's going to do a lot on the trail. Alright guys, the VoSwitch, I think that's how you say it. This is my solution for wiring up all my lights. Mounts under the hood. I did do a video on the installation of the VoSwitch, and it was really straightforward. This thing has worked flawlessly. So I would recommend it. I think you can get it on Amazon for about $250. It'd probably take I don't know, maybe a couple of hours to install it, to get all the wiring nice and cleaned up. But this thing works phenomenally well. It's got all the fuses, wiring connections, and relays inside this box. And so it makes for simple wiring of things like lights, and you know, you could hook a compressor to it if you have one. I don't, but it's got 6 switches, and the switch pod fits in the dash. So if you don't have the 4 upfitter switches, this is a really good, fairly inexpensive solution. All right, so the engine. What have I done to the engine? You're not gonna believe this. Not a thing. However, if you know of a solution for forced induction, let me know, because I would love to have some sort of forced induction. This is the e-torque motor, and I haven't done a lot of research. I did reach out to the RIP guys because they look like they have a pretty decent product, and they told me they don't have a solution for the e-torque engine. If you have a V6 in the automatic, you have an e-torque motor in the Wrangler JL, at least 21 models. So I don't have any upgrades to the motor. And I mean, it actually does fairly well. What, to the wheels, I think people are getting 210, 215, something like that. So with the Rubicon and the 410 gears, it's got enough get up and go to merge with traffic. But man, forced induction, goodness gracious, that would be awesome. So let me know if you hear of something. All right guys, for A-pillar lights, I did go with the rigid cube lights. They're 4-inch cube lights, and I've been pretty impressed. The A-pillar lights combined with my 18-inch Nightlight light bar up front, man, it really puts out a lot of light. So I've got no issues with wheeling at night, being able to see the trail and trail obstacles. It does fairly well. These are a bit pricey for what they are, but I figured, why not? I splurged. So rigid cube lights, really like them. Definite thumbs up. All right guys, this is the control pod for the VoSwitch. It comes with, I don't know if you can see it from there, but it comes with little labels. I've used, right now there's 3 of them that I've hooked up. I do have the label for the backup lights. I just hadn't gotten them installed yet, so that'll be coming soon. All right guys, that's everything I've done to Ole Sarge. What's coming up? I have leather interior on order. Got it from Catskin. I'll do another video on that because I think you're gonna like what you see. Super easy to work with. I've done a good number of modifications so far. It looks fairly unique. I think the green, you just don't see a whole lot of Sarge green 2 doors running around, and I think proportionally with the lift and the 35-inch tires, I think it looks pretty good. But the best part about Ole Sarge is driving her. I'll see you on the trail. Thanks.